Okay, so Liz gave her update. Now it's my turn. See, my garden is very bare because I live in Indiana and I don't live in Florida. So I'm going to try to keep the camera steady because y'all know I have trouble with people who don't have steady cameras, but I don't have non-shaky camera equipment. Anywho, this is an empty spot. I'm gonna start over with the good. Start over here with the good stuff. Okay, so under here is this is my Brassica garden. So what you see right here, that is my lettuce. It was a volunteer from last year. So I guess I still have some seeds. And there's another volunteer, and back there is a volunteer. Let me see if I can get up in here. This is my first video garden tour, so I'm not doing that great of a job at the moment. I'll get better as time goes on. But so underneath here, that's my cilantro. I have broccoli here. You can't really tell the difference between anything because they all look the same. And back there, I have cabbage. See what I mean by they all look like each other? Over here, I have Brussels sprouts. All look the same. And you see the little stabby looking things? Those are my onions. And I have onions planted all the way around the perimeter. Right here in this very empty spot, next to my gigantic Brussels sprout, which I grew over the winter, by the way, and that was actually the smallest one. Here, point at that. Let me get back to the subject. This is I put a nasturtium there. So we're going to see what happens. I just planted a bunch of stuff today, and that nasturtium was one of them. Anywho, so this looks kind of wilted because it's like the end of the day. But that's my Brussels sprout. And I had like 4 or 5 of them growing in the wintertime. And under this thing here, wrapped under a frost blanket, all the ones that grew really well, as soon as it got warm, they bolted. So I just ate the leaves, and honey, let me tell you, Brussels sprout leaves taste good. They taste like greens, so don't worry about it. If your Brussels sprouts don't turn into Brussels sprouts, eat the leaves and the flower buds. I don't know about what happens when it flowers, but the buds taste really well. Anyway, so this is my other raised bed, and it had been ravaged by raccoons. As you see, I didn't have the hoops on here at first, and once the raccoons got in there, and let me tell you, when raccoons dig, my boyfriend was like, hey, it looked like a human been digging in your garden. So they pulled out all my beans and just whatever was just, it triggered my sadness really bad. So, anywho, I replanted. Well, some of the beans survived, and then some of them got buried because they dug so bad. But I have beans and, garlic. I have in this empty spot, I planted some radishes. I've never eaten radish. I don't know what it tastes like, so I didn't plant that many. If anything, we'll just give them away. So it's a lot of stuff planted in this bed. I put a couple of nasturtiums in here too, but nothing is sprouted yet. This is how come I hadn't been doing any weekly videos, because it was nothing to look at but dirt. But back there I have onions and garlic planted. I plant them around the edges just because it keeps them out of the way. This guy here is my clematis. I forgot what kind it is. It was supposed to be a blue one, and it turned out to be one of those purple ones. So it isn't a true blue clematis. So that brings me to the next area. Right here under this trellis, right there, I planted blue morning glories. And they have not sprouted yet. And that is a major disappointment. And I don't know if the weather's been too cold or if the seeds are bad, but it's breaking my heart. This is one of my wildflower beds, and a couple of the things have come up. I try to make sure to keep it, safe for the raccoons. Oh my God, of course the people are making noise outside. Anyway, I try to keep it safe from the raccoons. They haven't dug in here so far, but they did dig in here, and this is my other wildflower bed, which in hindsight, I wish I had made this one, the wildflower bed. I wish I had made that one. This one was a hugelkultur, and the wood is, I dug down and the wood is underneath here. And if you want to know what hugelkultur is, ask and I shall let you know. But there's wood, big old hunks of wood buried down in there. The top is dirt, which is beautiful. And there's nothing that's hindering anything. You see a couple sticks on the top, but that's nature, honey. Garden beds ain't supposed to be that pretty. And right there is a sunflower. I have so many sunflowers, honey, because that's my favorite flower. If I find sunflower seeds scattered about my garden from last year, I try to replant them, and I'll show you. I'll pick them up and put them in a different part of the yard. Those are sunflowers. They look a little poopy, but I'm telling you, sunflowers will come back, honey. Back here behind me where the wildflower bed is, they dug those sunflowers out, and I didn't even touch them. I just left them, and they came back like bosses. These underneath the milk cartons and just the protection is nasturtiums. What's going to happen is, because I dug a hole right there, then the birds and the raccoons or whatever the heck, I don't think raccoons are really going to come back. But the birds and everything like to dig and scratch stuff up. So I covered those until they germinate. And I just planted those today. I think I just found another sunflower. I'm just going to have to leave it. And here, underneath all that dirt is a bunch of more of this good stuff here. I just threw the dirt on top and threw some yellow alyssum mixed it in the dirt. So we'll see if it comes up. There's some other stuff here around this perimeter. I don't know what it is, and I don't feel like trying to identify it. It's not dandelions, and it's not all this artemisia that's growing everywhere. So I'm not going to touch it until I figure it out. Maybe it's, who knows? It's a bunch of stuff over here that I'm not going to pull out because, nature and whatnot. This right here was growing in the front yard in some shade, and I decided to go, this was last year, I dug this up and I put it back here under this grapevine, and it came back this year. It's a bunch of it over here. I'm going to take you over there. I have no idea what it is. I identified it last year, or had it identified, but I don't remember what the heck it is. It's pretty, so I kept it. It's not killing anything, so. But here it is. Look at those pretty flowers. God, that's gorgeous. And it's just like a nice soft plant. It's not all woody and gross. So, anywho, but this is my grapevine. It's actually a wild grapevine, so I'm going to back up and I'm going to tell you guys the story of this trellis. So, see my beautiful shadow. Okay, so this trellis was put together because my mama grew up in this house, and my mom nurtured this wild grapevine. And even after my mom and dad got divorced, he still rebuilt a structure for the grapevine, and it's been structures rebuilt for that grapevine years and years and years. She made jelly with it. She did whatever, but she loved the doggone thing. And since I inherited the house, I wanted to put a nice stable structure, and I made this cattle panel trellis. And so I since last year I've moved it over a little bit because it was on the opposite. It was weird. Anyway, so the grapevine is going to grow over, and that's how it was last year. But my grapevine is coming up late. Everything is very sad. But so my mom's, that's on that side is the grapevine. On this side where there's the blue morning glories, they're supposed to grow up this way. And blue was my mama's favorite color. So this is basically my mama's garden right here. And I have it's all like over here where these, and I said that's wildflowers. It's not really, there's some wildflowers and some sunflowers in there, but it's mostly blue flowers I planted over there. So that's why I'm trying to protect it from the raccoon, because that's the mama garden right there. And those yellow alyssums are just kind of a whatever. I'm just doing it because I can. So that's pretty much my garden. Back there is compost. Maybe I'll show you that next time, because there's nothing to see here. As you see, there's a bunch of wood chips and a pile of wood chips in the garage and grass and stuff. So anyway, there's my update. I think every time Leah sends me an update, I'll probably come outside and do another one. She's going to be the one to remind me. I'm going to use her updates as a reminder. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm sure you do, because I got cool stuff in here. Even though nothing's growing, I still got some cool setups. Just drop it down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.